In this last episode of our three-part series, Rebuilding the Foundation of Sustainability Through Compassion, an interview with Dr. Saris Krishna Rao, we are going to hear from Dr. Rao, a Shining World Award for Earth Protection laureate, about his change theories, as well as practical advice for adopting a vegan lifestyle, and his sincere prayer for peace and compassion. Dr. Saris Krishna Rao graduated in 1986 from Stanford University, USA, receiving a PhD in electrical engineering. For the first 20 years after graduation, he actively served society as a systems specialist and was involved in the creation of new communication technologies in support of the Internet. Through extremely successful in his professional career, he was inspired to make a significant change after watching former Vice President Al Gore's presentation about global warming in December 2005. Dr. Rao then founded the non-profit organization Climate Healers in 2007. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. These words from Mahatma Gandhi are frequently quoted by Dr. Saris Rao, who puts much emphasis on the transformation needed to realize his goal of world vegan by 2026. In the theory of yoga, when the outward behavior changes, people's chakras, inner energy will become open and inner beings begin to change.
When the behavior change happens, the veil that allowed us to commit the violence, or at least order the committing of the violence, that veil gets lifted. And then you will feel lighter in spirit. When I went vegan for the first time 10 years ago, I had this huge sense of guilt lift off my shoulders. And I was carrying that guilt for years, and I didn't even know that I was carrying that guilt. And I had this feeling of shame. And when I realized that I was doing something really wrong, so I welcomed that emotion in me that allowed me to change. See, in yoga, we talk about the 7 chakras. So the first chakra, the base chakra, is fear. Then it's guilt, then shame, then grief, then lies, and then delusions, and then attachments. So it is exactly the same chakras that have to be opened to make a change like this, a cultural change like this, because you have to first overcome the fear of making the change. That's the base chakra. So you have to have the courage to make a change. Then once you overcome that fear, then you'll feel guilt for all the things that you've done in the past. So you have to now overcome that guilt. So let it go, let it go. And then shame. And then the grief for all the violence that you committed in the past. I felt a lot of grief about that. And then you have to overcome all the lies that you have told about why you need to eat it and why you need to do this. Those are all lies, You realize they are all lies because now there are millions of people living who are vegan who are very perfectly healthy and happy. So then you have to overcome your delusions. The most important delusion you need to overcome is the delusion of separation from nature. So you should be absolutely convinced that you belong exactly as we are. And I say, my Climate Healers mission is to make humanity belong again on Earth. So we need to remove the delusion of separation. And then finally, it's the attachment to the taste or the texture of that type of food. Because there are lots of other foods that are very similar in plant-based foods that you can eat to overcome that attachment. So when you do that, then the change happens. So it's literally like yoga. It's a very spiritual process, process of opening all these chakras. In our culture, we have Lord Krishna. He's like an avatar of God. And he's always shown with a flute. He's playing a flute. And the flute has 7 holes. So those are the 7 chakras that are open. So when he plays the flute, he's playing through you. So when your chakras are open, he plays through you to create beautiful music.
Let's take a moment to consider how we can be God's perfect tool to bless the world. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned. Welcome back, diligent viewers. Since the vegan movement is the most urgent thing for now, Dr. Saris Rao offers some practical and loving advice for those who want to experience this transition.
There are lots of resources available to help people to try it out. There is a website called vegan22.com that you can go to, and they assign a mentor to you and help you with recipes and nutrition expertise and everything you need to make the transition. Then join a community that is doing this. Convince your places of worship to form a community around this. Have vegan potlucks and vegan cooking classes and things like that in your places of worship, so that you can bring the community together around food. And this way, you will create an environment where everyone is. It's joyful to make this transition, because it is a beautiful transition that we are doing towards a world of non-violence. So it should be fun, it should be filled with joy. In Phoenix, we have a monthly vegan festival. So every month it's a block party. So we close off a block, and there are vegan food trucks, there are vegan tents, and there are vegan activists there. And there is vegan clothing and shoes, all kinds of things being sold. And people come there to experience veganism. And half the people who come there are not even vegan. And there is music, there is dancing going on all the time. And so people feel like they're in a festival every month, celebrating veganism. Because it's a celebration. The transition from the caterpillar to the butterfly is a celebration. So which is what we are going through. So we do that, and then every week in Phoenix we have an interfaith vegan church service that happens, where we draw from different faiths. We draw from Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, you name it. And we are showing how our scriptures, foundations of all our scriptures, is compassion for all life. So we have a service around that, and then we pray for the animals, and then we have a vegan potluck every week. And that also brings community together, And it eliminates all these divisions that we had between religions and, things like that. And then we see that we are all the same.
When all people in the world turn to vegan lifestyle, and when our hearts and mind are purified, we'll be created on the golden era, an Eden on earth.
I see a beautiful world in front of us where we are all working together to regenerate the forests, to bring back the animals, to clean up the ocean, to clean up all the water. And then we look back at what has happened, and we will feel proud to be a species that does belong on Earth. We feel proud to have done our job. So literally, I tell people, look, we can take a pessimistic view of what has happened, or we can take this view that we have actually finished all the technology that we need to develop. So we are like the sculptor that has been working on the sculpture, and we have finished our sculpture, but then we are now looking at all the mess we created around us, and we are saying, oh my God, we created a mess, instead of looking at the sculpture. Okay, clean up the mess, but understand that you've built a sculpture. You've built something beautiful. Okay, we have created something beautiful. Now we have to deploy this technology for the good of all life. So far we built all this technology to fight each other, right? Even the internet was designed using Department of Defense funds, but the internet can be deployed for the good of all. So the same thing is happening now. Everything has dual uses. So now we are being asked to deploy all of our work for the good of all life, and to become non-violent, and to take on a true role, which has always been our role, to be the thermostat species for the planet.
As the interview draws to the close, we are fortunate to join Dr. Saris Krishna Rao in the peace prayer from the Upanishads, which give us the power and hope to move forward with a more noble mission.
Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, from the unreal, bring us to the real. From darkness, bring us to light. And from death and extinction, bring us to immortality. Let there be peace, peace, peace in the world.
We are sincerely grateful to Dr. Suresh Krishna Rao for taking time to share his wise comments and noble vision. We deeply appreciate everything he achieved for our beings on our planet. May God bless you and your loved one with a life of caring kindness in the sustaining vegan world. For more information about Dr. Suresh Rao and climate healers, please visit www.climatehealers.org.
All information concerning the scientific evidence of climate change and its solution is in Supreme Master Ching Hai's book, From Crisis to Peace, free to download at crisistopeace.org.